Will Jake Paul beat Andre August? Let's get into it. Hello, welcome to On My Head, I hope you're all well. If you like what I do here, don't forget to like and share the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notifications bell for all future videos. So, will Jake Paul this coming weekend, will he beat Andre August? Is this the right fight for him? What will it do for his career? Is there any chance that he could lose? And basically, that'll be the end of Jake Paul in pro boxing. Now, here's my top tip, if you can't wait to the end of the video. My top tip for this fight. Because before this fight was announced, or I should say, as this fight was announced, many people, including myself, were saying, well, who the hell is Andre August? And his boxing record over the last 4 years has basically been non-existent, bar one fight a few months ago. But he has some pedigree. This would be a tough challenge for Jake Paul. And especially as Jake Paul has real, proper aspirations to be world champion, as he says. Well, he's got a long way to go, of course, and I'm sure he acknowledges that as well. So this is why he's kind of moved away from the high-profile names, in my opinion, and he's gone for boxing pedigree. Now, we're not talking about Tommy Fury boxing pedigree. We're talking about somebody, who's a little bit better, who's probably a little bit more seasoned, but he just hasn't fought a lot in the last few years. And that's a big red flag for me. Now, we could say about COVID, or we could say about the whole boxing system that it doesn't really promote fighters who don't have a big name, let's say. Now, it could be for personal reasons that he hasn't fought as well. So there are lots of variables why somebody doesn't fight. But the fact of the matter is, if you don't fight, especially in boxing, and you don't fight for a long period of time, especially when you're trying to build your career, then you don't really have a career. So this is where many questions were being asked to Jake Paul, who picked this opponent, to say, well, you're picking a pro boxer, yes, but an inactive pro boxer, really. So is it going to be a real threat? And I would say yes. I would say yes, it is, because you're dealing with a boxer now who's got pedigree, who's had an amateur career, who's come through the ranks. He just hasn't fought a lot. So if you really want to go to that next level, you have to beat the fighter at your level or who's slightly better. This is where Jake Paul finds himself. He's finding himself at a bit of a crossroads here, because if he doesn't beat Andre August, then for me, that's it. It's game over. You might as well abandon your pro boxing career, because now you've got 2 losses and you really haven't got a great padded record anyway. And this is what is valued in boxing, whether we like it or not. As soon as you start getting a few losses under your belt, especially in those early fights, then all of a sudden you're not that attractive going forward. Now, in Jake Paul's favour is that he brings a big name. He brings a lot of eyes to the sport, so that could counteract that boxing record for the future. So even if he does lose against Andre August, there may be a place for him still in professional boxing. My thoughts are, if he does lose this fight, then I think really he might have 1 or 2 more fights, but it's not going to go anywhere. I personally don't think it's going to go very far anyway in pro boxing, certainly not to the world level. But what he can do is have huge fights, have huge payday fights, have huge pay-per-view fights, have huge interest in his fights for the next couple of years. But in terms of building a boxing record at a professional level, if he doesn't beat Andre August, I think it stops. So will he beat him? Will he beat Andre August? Well, I think this is probably going to be his toughest test to date. And whilst I think he's picked his opponent carefully, and I'm not saying there's any shenanigans going on behind the scenes at all, but what I'm saying is I think he's picked his opponent especially so that he can develop in the professional boxing arena. And that's why I think Jake Paul, he should lose, but I don't think he will. Now, take from that what you will. I'm not saying there's anything shady going on whatsoever, but for me, Andre August should beat Jake Paul, but I don't think he will. And I don't think this is the end of the line for Jake Paul either. I think this is a stepping stone for Jake Paul to be a legitimate pro boxer. So this is why I'm going for Jake Paul in this fight. I think it's going to be very tight, but I don't think it's going to go the distance either. I'm thinking a stoppage, possibly in the later rounds. It could go the distance, who knows? I mean, it's a difficult one to call, really, because there isn't, we can look at Jake Paul's boxing record, and it's hard to judge him by that. And also, you could look at Andre August's boxing record, and there isn't a lot in recent times to kind of sink your teeth into. So it is a guess. It's a guess at the end of the day. But I expect Jake Paul to win because his future is at stake here. Whereas Andre August, I don't think his future is at stake anymore. I think his time has passed. And I think his desire to get ahead in the boxing game has passed as well. So this is where my thinking's at. Who will win out of Jake Paul and Andre August? Andre August should win, but I think Jake Paul will win. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you like what I do here, don't forget to like and share the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notifications bell on all future videos. And I'll catch you again on another video coming very soon. Bye now.